Ladies and gentlemen, I am back and I have a special guest with me who keeps having pity on my poor soul. It is the homegirl Mel. How are you doing today?
I'm here. I am so excited to be here with you and tackle all of this delicious bad behavior we're going to see.
Yes, there's going to be a whole lot of bad behavior, ladies and gentlemen, including that bullshit we just saw right there. And how we have MAGA Republicans comparing the plight of the black girl. If you guys didn't see this iconic photo, let me show it to you one more time. If you haven't seen this photo, there are actual MAGA folks that probably was sitting on this bus with that, that train with that mask on, actually comparing this chick that got stabbed in Charlotte to this girl. Two totally different stories, even though both are tragic, two totally different stories. We'll break down the education involved with that. We also got MAGA influencers claiming that what the hell was black women doing when the founding fathers founded this country? Oh, we're going to eat his ass alive, ladies.
What?
We're going to fillet him. We are going to fillet him like an alligator in Australia, folks. Stick around for that. And then, folks, I can't make this up. Politicians that are so out of touch, they're willing to tell you why America can barely afford folks that make minimum wage can't get a pound, right? They can't get a pound of beef. Yeah. And we have politicians saying they're going to eat lobster and caviar and all this other horse shit, and then have the audacity to say it's just because people ain't working hard enough. Well, wait till you find out how this effort got his money. Folks, it's so much going on. We might as well get started. Politics of Being Black show starts right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
Woo, folks, you're in the building with Lamont, Tyson, the all-knowing, all-loving, all-feeling, all-seeing, all-powerful, all DEI, all woke, all equitable, just damn all everything, sexy as hell host. And joining me tonight is a hot host herself. It is Mel. How are you doing in the building, Mel?
I'm feeling your hotness. I'm feeling your blackness. I'm feeling your political power.
Oh, Lord.
I feel great.
Well, it is great to have you folks. We've had a little bit of technical difficulty, but we are good. And I want to shout out everybody that is new to the channel, that has found me from the popular shorts that I've been allowed to upload. Make sure you guys subscribe, go to the video description area, or you can go to the pinned comment to go to the original content creator. And for me, folks, I don't really sell anything. I don't. You can follow my affiliates, links in description. I have affiliates with Shopify, and one that you might like called Wine Express. In case you can't find a wine in your local area and you want to order it, Wine Express to get it there quick, fast, and in a hurry. So you fellas that are trying to get panty draws on Friday night and you don't know how to set the ambiance, go order some Wine Express. Link is in the description. You might get them panty draws before 9 o'clock on Friday night.
That's all it takes, guys. A good bottle of wine.
Yes. Mel. It's good to have you back. And her link is in description if you want to get some work and some one-on-one with Mel, my big friend, my homie, my political confidant. She is here to give great expert opinions on some of these subjects we're covering. And Mel, let's go ahead and just break this down first, since we're already here. Over the weekend, this terrible spare crap Trump tried to pull. And have you noticed anything Trump tries to do, if he's not doing it illegally, it turns to shit? You know, like if he's not robbing somebody to their face, if he's not pillorying the government somehow, some way, anything he tries to do the legit way never works. Yeah. And we saw a bunch of unlegit people roll their asses up to DC this weekend. Let's start with these guys right here. Yep. We had these masked white nationalists roll up, and you see they're surrounding black people. And the thing that I guess folks who don't understand racism and how it works, this is a form of intimidation. It's a form of intimidation. And I give these Black folks all kinds of credit for standing in here,
Amen.
and they look pretty young,
Amen. Yeah.
not wanting to start anything,
Amen.
holding their ground, not going anywhere. And for those MAGA folks that want to keep talking about this Irina chick, we'll get to that in a second, and how this is two totally different stories, and how it reminds us that some of you MAGA men, you ride a bus that's shorter than the numbers are long on the side of the fucking bus, okay? We'll get to that comparison in a minute. But first, Mel, when you see this picture of one of our sisters having to sit here with these men that couldn't get fucked if they was face down, ass up, because you still can't see their face, what is going through your mind when you see this?
I actually don't have anything go through my mind. What I feel in my body is most intense, and I feel fear for her. I feel sad for her. I feel proud of her. She's doing something that I've recognized in myself in certain situations, with the minority status, and I'm angry. Like, there's just this constant wave of emotions that goes through me when looking at that, and then the logical mind kicks in and is like, bless her and that other gentleman for simply standing their ground and trying to get through it alive, not knowing where a group of people like that could take themselves. That's terrifying for people who have never been in anything like that. That's really scary. She doesn't know how they're going to act.
Exactly. If anyone out there had seen an interview with this young lady or this gentleman, can you stitch it to me or something, so maybe we can see how they was feeling, see what the mindset was. And Mel, MAGA and white dudes who are not that educated, their favorite things to do is whataboutisms. So one of the biggest whataboutisms they're throwing in people's face is this girl that died in my home state of North Carolina in Charlotte. She was, of course, stabbed to death by Black men, which they had to kill that part. Of course, they had to kill that. But Mel, it gets on my nerves when you see this type of behavior. Because these type of hating ass people is the same type of people that if me and you went on The Price is Right and we won a car, they wouldn't just let us have the discretion to say we want a car. They would be the one telling us, well, because they're hating, you're going to have to pay taxes on that damn car. Fuck, I got a car.
Right, yeah.
But folks, it doesn't matter. Look, we both are sad that this young lady lost her life, and the people that did it should be in jail.
100%. That's insanity for anyone to try to bring in any other aspects to it.
Right.
That.
But the problem that you face here is this girl did go home with her life, sure. But the intimidation she faced from people that you clearly know showed up to January the 6th.
Yes.
And did dirty shit.
Yes.
And y'all want to bring this bull job up right here clearly shows we're living in two different Americas, and there is clearly an education, sympathy and apathy divide, and more importantly, a complex where people just want to be superior. Floor is yours, Mel. What are you thinking when they bring up this comparison?
So what I would really want viewers to see is that for anybody who thinks that this comparison, this tragic murder, by the way, is at all relevant, if they try to make this at all relevant to this, it's not only offensive and insulting and dishonoring to this young woman who was murdered in this horrific way, it's irrelevant to the events now. And what I want the audience to know is that please don't be fooled by this. There are not parallels that make any meaningful point. And a fantastic skill that I have noticed from some of the representatives of the MAGA base, but I would say J.D. Vance in particular, and I really want people to pay attention to this. When they're faced with a question, really directly put, they will spin and do everything they can to avoid answering the question directly. And they will rely on incendiary, what they know is amoral, incorrect, and wrong, to bring up, to distract the person they're speaking with, to get dysregulated in their system, to get angry. and then the conversation kind of dissipates. Don't let that happen here. The murder of that young woman that was horrible, has nothing to do with the horror this woman faced and that other young gentleman in that photo. They are relevant to one another and they should not be brought into the same conversation. But this is the magic of the MAGA talking point. I'm going to spin you around. I'm never going to actually answer it or take responsibility. I'm just going to have you angry at all the wrong that I point to as if it is equal and relevant. Always.
And as Mel made such an eloquent point, I'm going to tell you the real magic of the MAGA leaders, the politicians that get on TV and talk. For everything you just said, which is completely right, Mel, there is a foundation that they rely on, and that is ignorance and lack of intelligence and lack of critical thinking, which is why your boy is always on. We got to do something about our education system, because it's almost like, think of it like this, you MAGA men who like to consider yourselves tough. And, you can walk in a room and you can do what you want to do to women because you're the alpha male, right? Do y'all know that every time y'all fall for the banana in the tailpipe from JD Vance and his folks, that they are bending you over, doing something that starts with an R, but I'm going to put a G in front of it, and spinning you round and round like you're sitting on a washing machine? That's what they're doing to you when you fall for these type of stupid analogies, stupid soliloquies they give you, and don't base anything in logical fact. That's what you fall for, ladies.
This wouldn't pass a third grade test on make a relevant comparison. This wouldn't pass even a school grade level assignment. This is something that you would be failed for at like basic elementary school. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. So folks, let us know what you think. Post your comments. Mel's information is in the link in description. Always check link in the description. Like I said, fellas, you trying to get in some panty draws the legal way, the right way, with permission. Wine Express is one of my affiliates tonight. Their link is in the description. They can get you anything you want, no matter where you live in the world.
Wine Express. I'm going to do a little jingle for them.
Look, and Mel doesn't even need no wine, ladies and gentlemen. She turned up already.
I'm just sober.
All right. Folks, the next story is going to make some of y'all mad, because folks know that I was raised by a grandmother. Foundation, one of the main foundations I do this channel is because I believe in the plight, rise like a phoenix of the African-American woman, Black educated woman. I believe in their resilience, the things they've had to endure, the things they continue to endure, even in the face of being the most educated group in the world, in America. They still get disrespected by the people that fear them the most, which is white men in power that don't deserve their position. Amen. So folks, this next clip is from a MAGA influencer running his damn mouth, and me and Mel are going to have to educate him as soon as you watch this. Here we go.
I want a name. Okay, I need a name of a single Black woman that had something to do with America's founding. Go. I mean, I can think of didn't Thomas Jefferson have like half his family with out of wedlock with the slaves? I think isn't that historic? Anyway, that's like as close as I can get.
You hear that, Mel? For him, the only significance women had in the quote unquote founding of this nation, Black women anyway, was being concubines for people that didn't even think they were human. So obviously these fuckers was bestiality. But I'm not gonna go that far on it. I'm gonna stick to the point here. But for him to disrespect our sisters like that, dude, Seth MacFarlane looking ass, you're not about to get away with that. You're not about to get away with that. And before I run with the floor, I give the floor to Mel, because she's gonna say things more eloquently than I'm gonna say them. She's gonna say them more nicely than I'm gonna say them. And we might as well go ahead and get the honey before the vinegar. Floor is yours, Mel.
I don't know how sweet this is going to sound, but I wish I could be in front of them. So that has to be one of the most stupid things I've ever heard, because it reveals his stupidity. Because unless he doesn't know, so, okay, here's the setup, folks. As somebody who works with people all the time and has to work with humans in really difficult situations. What he just told us reveals about him typically one of two things. Like, one, he is completely ignorant and doesn't know the history of how the United States had come about, and the history of slavery and how that was built how this country was built on the backs of the slave. Okay, he either doesn't know that, which makes him unqualified to give any commentary, so he shouldn't be listened to whatsoever. Or B, he does know that, and he's being a total disgusting piece of shit and acting as if Black women or anybody other than a white man with a certain amount of money, because it wasn't just Black people or people of color or minorities. This was a time where they were trying to already develop systems to keep access to land, property, and money in certain hands. So they were already developing caste and hierarchy. So this is a time where also, not only were Black women not allowed to come in with actual open force and explicit command, nobody other than a white male landholder could really do that. So which of the two is he? Ignorant and doesn't deserve any space, or a total piece of shit and you're going to give him space? Like, we're not listening to this. This is trash. I can't imagine, again, from somebody who doesn't sound like he knows what he's even talking about. And then if you want to dig further into the history, Black influence has always been there. A woman influencing a politically positioned man, no matter what the color, is always going to have his ear. So of course women were always still in the background, Black women especially, making sure the world fucking ran so that those pieces of shit could continue. I give you the floor. You sweeten that one up. I don't know. Lamont.
Let me sit up for this, because do I love Black women? And I fully understand what they have gone through in this country. And let's pick apart this wannabe influencer, number one. First, if you're going to get up here and talk about folks being a concubine, why don't you start with your damn president who pretends he's heterosexual? We all know he's gay. I digress. He wears a fucking diaper. If you're going to get up here and talk about the history of this country, let's just keep this thing real. The founding fathers was not the founders. There was people here before their asses got here. Y'all seem to casually forget that, okay? And then to talk about the contributions of Black women only being that folks would lay down with them. Well, was we humans or was we beasts? If we was beasts, you mean to tell me these beasts were so beautiful that they couldn't keep their dick in the pants for they white blonde women that was in the house that they could have went in there and slept with?
All the
Stop
time.
it.
All the time. All the time.
Folks, Black women, from the beginning they was brought here on the boat, have had to endure not only the shit from the white men, but then they got to endure shit from the white women who usually know that these men were screwing them. So the women is kind of mad at the Black woman because they can't take it out on the man. And then the Black woman has got to go home and take it from the Black man who might want to have sex, even though she just got raped and cussed out by the white woman through no fault of her own. Then those same women get pregnant with these kids and got to take care of the kids even the day before the baby is fucking born. And these women have had to deal with the mental health trauma of all that stuff. And I guarantee you, as Mel said, some of the Constitution was written in part by an influence from a woman that was fucking the brains out of a fucking fake ass founding father, ladies and gentlemen. I am detested by someone who would have the gall to get up here and say that about Black women. Say something about your white founding fathers if you want to run your mouth so much, because the only thing that we see that is inept is white dudes like you who get these positions and don't deserve them, and you keep failing your way to the top like the current president of the United States. I don't know if he's, I'm sorry, man, I don't know if he said that jokingly because he had that little stupid shit-smelling grin on his face, or whether he was serious. Either way, it shows how intelligent your dumb ass is. And it shows the intelligence of your audience. So is yours, man.
Literally it. What often makes me so flabbergasted is that if anybody were in my physical presence and said something so dumb, I would just tell them, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. And I would just move on. These people have followers. What this man is also using is a way to demean women in general. As if As if
Exactly.
slaves had agency and choice. Lamont is not exaggerating when he is calling Black people in the way that the white owners saw them as less than human. I wish people understood that we are only really catching up on a collective, and we still do a great job of dehumanizing one another by race, by gender, by different identities. Please, like, let's just not even pay attention. Like, I would want everybody to just snuff this man out, because it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I can't imagine him going anywhere with intelligent people and getting away with any of that shit. That's ridiculous.
Or can you imagine what does his spouse say? What does his wife say? Or what does his jump off boyfriend say? What are they? Are they just complicit in this behavior? What? I mean, Mel, if I got up here and I attacked white women the way he just did, boy, them white dudes, they would probably send them same dudes that went to DC to my front door.
Yep. And I really would love to be in the room with the women of these men, because what they think they're gaining in terms of positions and power to sacrifice themselves and their souls and their own children to these pieces of shit, they're a problem too. Anybody who's complicit is a problem.
Right. And folks, that's how we progressively take this country back, by all of us standing on business and not letting people get away with these worst instincts when we have conversations with people in the day-to-day walk.
That's right.
I can't tell y'all how often I have these conversations with people in the little places I go, to the point where folks don't even want to talk to me no more unless you got facts. And if you don't want to use facts, tell me, where are you making up these imaginations from your mind, from your little bit of anecdotal life? And you probably haven't even left the country where you hang from mountains with 2 teeth, okay? We got to do better than this. The world is bigger than the bubble you live in. And oftentimes, the thing that we all want, even though some of us don't want to admit it, Mel, we all, in some way in our life, have a clause for equality and fairness for someone, whether it's your daughter, your husband, your brother.
Of course.
All I'm fighting for is that we all get that same benefit across the board, no matter how many zeros is in your bank. You can have more zeros than a square dance at a kindergarten class. It doesn't matter to me. We all need the same amount of fairness. And that's what we're fighting for on this channel. And you don't get fairness by telling Black women the only thing they was good for was having sex with. And then in turn, nowadays, if you see Nicki Minaj twerking or you see Cardi B twerking, you got shit to say about it when you just admitted that the founding father was out there blowing backs out. And they didn't have panty drawers back then. They wore cloths, stuff like that. So y'all let us know what y'all think. Post a comment. It's crazy. It's crazy. I brought Mel on a day where it is hot.
I know. I'm like, this stupid is too much for me to get past.
Hoo-wee, folks, let me know what y'all think. Now we're going to move on to the biggest con man to ever get in the White House. That's Trump. And I told people a long time ago, you see so many people in the ilk of Trump online that wear nice suits that they can't afford, that do a whole lot of faking it till they make it. And their real money comes from YouTube ad revenue and lying to people about any system they can put in place to help you, whether it's with real estate, trading, whatever you're doing. You've got a lot of con folks. If they sound like a used car salesman, folks, be very careful. Yeah. Well, we have a former MAGA Republican talking about all the grift that Trump has been doing, and his name is Chris Christie. Take a listen to what he's going to be saying.
He and his family believe they are entitled to this. This is an entitlement to them. They believe when they came back and won this election the second time, that gave them license, that the American people gave them license to essentially go and take whatever they could take over this period of time. And quite frankly, you know, when you look at the scale of this, here's another thing apparently that Donald Trump learned from Vladimir Putin during his first term. This is Putin-esque type of corruption and self-enrichment. And Maggie's right. The laws don't prohibit him from doing this.
Common sense. The Constitution does, the Emoluments Clause.
That's right. I mean, there's a difference between, obviously, as you know, between the individual ethics laws, which do not apply to him, but the Emoluments Clause, when you look at the plane And what I think it will start to hurt him more is that he says things that turn out to not be true. Oh, the plane is a gift. It won't cost us anything. Well, no, it costs us hundreds of millions of dollars to get it up to Air Force One level of operation. Every time he says one of those things, the ballroom won't cost anybody anything. Now we're talking about them wanting to move $1 billion to work on the ballroom. So, the American people are starting to catch up to this. You can feel it.
Well,
Mel, I do think that there are some American people that are catching up to it.
Yeah.
But you still have way too many who are complicit and comfortable with hating anyone who's not white, and that be fine for them, even though they're living in poverty, they can't afford beef to make spaghetti. As long as Trump can get their rocks off with hate, they're comfortable with like these jackbooted dudes we just seen going to DC that are fight. First of all, it's weird to me that you're the party in power. You are the group of folks in power. What are you mad about? You mad that it looks like folks like me are catching up while you suppress, I'm trying to progress everybody to equality. Think about how that sounds. You suppress, I'm trying to progress everybody to have the same footing, the same playing field. And what they have done is empowered Trump to do the only thing he knows how to do to make money, Mel. Trump was not a billionaire until he became president. And he got his ass in office, and he's pushing all the boundaries. And like they said, the Constitution does have the emoluments clause, but if there's nobody to enforce it currently, it's like, what can you do? So the floor is yours, Mel. Let me know what you think.
I really wish we could get people to understand that the racist thinking to remaining poor is a direct pipeline. You're not going to, for the people who we're talking about, who fall for the grift the most often, the people who have sent Trump money for his campaigns, the people who have bought his Bitcoin, essentially his version of it, which is couldn't be more in the gutter now. NFTs he was doing, if the phone that was proven to be not made in America and barely got into people's hand. What more do you need to see? He makes sure, and by the way, I don't even think Trump cares about race or anything. He doesn't see humanity. He just cares about how it serves him. So if he knows that he has to say blank and it keeps people, and now let's own him, because I'm in New York City and my family's from New York City. We've known Trump for a long time, and I've always known him as like a joke of a business dude, but also a disgusting racist, which was why all of New York from the beginning was like, and as much as I'm very, very glad to have Chris Christie speak out, he's the governor of New Jersey, I believe, or was at the time. Former governor. And I'm familiar with his work too. And fuck him for coming out this late. And fuck everybody. I mean, I want you to come out and say shit, but everybody knew who he is, who he was. And he continues to rob, particularly from people who are going to get hurt the most, who are going to have the hardest time coming back because of the belief in, well, I'm still doing right because Jesus told me it's about being white and straight. Mm-hmm. And the fact that people care that much in this day and age is bananas. And it keeps people from being able to progress in their own lives. And you're absolutely right, Lamont. I think that so much of the anger is that they see other people thriving.
Well, Mel, on top of that, you just said something else that the Republican Party does. They don't talk about it outright in the media, but they know that they are in the tank, the power structure, the Republican power, they're in the tank for the corporations and the rich people.
Yep.
And if you can continue to beat down the masses of the people, because the rich people that cater to Fox News base the most are the top 10% richest people in America. Mm-hmm. And they know that they're grifting off the other 90% of the people to keep their asses standing up high and rich. But if you grift them enough and you rob them, and these people don't think you can do anything wrong to them, that makes it easy for them to blame it on people like me and you, those minorities, that DEI, that educated black sister who's snapping her neck because she's so smart.
Right.
It makes and if until they can break out of that bubble a little bit, they have a hard time hearing and understanding what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hard time. I read something the other day that says Trump, since he's been president, has made more money combined in office than I think it was 36 presidents combined.
Yeah.
He's 46. So you mean to tell me your wealth has eclipsed pretty much every president we've ever had, except for we can't add in 10 more?
Yeah.
Come on, man. So in 250 years, you've made more money than all the presidents probably over the course of, I'm a round number this, 200 years. You made more money than all those presidents combined. Stop.
And when people try to point this out, and I heard this from one of his former lawyers who now was a talking piece for him and whatever, said, well, he's a businessman and this is what he's going to do and blah, blah, blah. I'm so tired of people also making excuses for him. He's the president. He's not one of us. It doesn't matter what he was. He's not fighting for the people. And as much as people, and this is the other thing that kills me, on the one hand, you have someone confirming that it's true that he has made that much money. So they want to laud him for his business prowess. On the other hand, people are starving in the United States. His business. More than in New York City, honey. Nobody, barely anybody here voted for him. And they want to make him an amazing businessman who doesn't care because he could give $1 billion and be okay. I don't think people recognize what $1 billion is.
They don't.
Like, who cares if he gives up his salary as the president? Are you fucking dumb? Are you blind? If you care about people, you would take your money and make sure that there are social services, that there aren't food deserts, that rural, white, American, poor places that he's literally reaches into the pockets of, because those are the people sending him $1 to $5 a month to take care of Trump Jesus for whatever reason. What about putting some rural hospitals in place for those folks? He has power. By the way, so does all of Congress. He doesn't have to work alone. Neither does J.D. Vance. All of this can stop. All of it can stop any second. And Lamont's right. People have to be told over and over and over because we're starting to see a tide change, don't you? I think we are seeing people.
We are. We're definitely. One thing I will say, and then we'll move on to a new segment called Breaking MAGA, Escaping MAGA. Because we've had so many people that honestly thought Trump was going to drain the swamp, as if they were so deep in the bubble they didn't realize that the swamp predominantly, folks, I said predominantly, was Republicans. I'm not saying Democrats aren't involved because there are a lot of them in the tank too. But it was predominantly Republicans. Trump didn't drain the swamp. People seen that he became the swamp, and people got enlightened at how rich people use socialism, and rich people had told them that socialism was bad, and they didn't realize that them same people was grifting the government for their own personal gain. And when businesses didn't make it, they didn't lose nothing. But if you, as a regular guy, can't even get a loan you can't get a loan from the government, the bank won't look out for you. You got to go to some person who claims to be a fucking capitalist and give up your damn first 2 kids to get a loan to get a business going that barely keeps you going. They started waking up, Mel, saying, "Oh, this ain't. Why is it okay that Apple, one of the richest companies in the world, gets millions of dollars of tax breaks to move into my community when I've got thousands of small businesses that have been propping up this community for years, could use a boost and create jobs and do all the things Apple could do, but you rather give them that money than to give it to the people that's been here posting up the community."
Yes. So when Trump says affordability is an illusion or a myth, it's because they keep it that way. There isn't a lack of money in the world. This is not the problem.
The problem, Mel, I always tell people this over and over again. Life is not fair You hear that from college professors and people who think they're smart. They always tell you, son, life is not fair. I was raised by a grandma who, boy, she was a whip. I mean, she was witty as hell. Didn't have like real deal school education, but she
had wisdom.
She had wisdom. She used to always tell me something. She would say something like that to me. And one time I thought she was going to knock my teeth out. She was like, Lamont, life is not fair. And I said, Grandma, isn't life itself human beings too? She was like, yeah, where you going with this? Well, I said, well, if life is not fair, isn't it because human beings help make it unfair? And she looked at me, her eyes was turning red because I know she wanted to say, don't talk back to me, but she couldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Folks, end of the day, 80% of life is not fair because human beings make it unfair. Yes. At the very least, we still have a democratic system, a democratic republic system that allows us to make the system more fair for everyone and not just for the people at the top. And Mel, to that point, the next segment we're calling Escaping MAGA. We've got someone who escaped MAGA that was a veteran. He realized that the Republican Party is full of shit. They talk about how much they love the military when the only folks that get money from the military is the military industrial complex. And this guy is going to tell us how he escaped. Hold on to your jock straps for this one.
I used to be a Trump supporter. No, I never owned a red hat. I was dumb, not stupid. I bought into the propaganda and lies. Looking back, I realized I was getting sucked into a cult. How do I know? When he so proudly said he grabs women by the hoo-ha, I justified it by saying women have said much worse to me. When he made fun of a disabled reporter, I'd look you right in the eye and tell you no, we didn't. I thought we needed a businessman and not a politician. I rationalized his failures and bankruptcies as the cost of doing business when you're a maverick or a disruptor. I believed him when he said left-leaning news sources were fake news. I didn't want to accept that the furry news network is even more propaganda-driven than those on the left. I supported his rhetoric. I believed him when he said he would drain the swamp. I never realized he is the swamp. And because Democrats attacked him relentlessly, that compelled me to want to defend him. Make that make sense? I believed he would stand for all Americans in the ground on which we stand. I only wanted to read or hear information that supported what I thought of this man. I couldn't see how bigoted I was. I was intolerant of any opinion differing from my own. I couldn't see any of this. But after he lost the 2020 election, I began to notice how much of a whiny, narcissistic, petulant child he was about it. Don't ask me why, but for some reason, that is when I began to see what other people had already seen. I didn't want to believe it. How could I be so wrong? Was I really that susceptible to a cult? Apparently I was. I've been sucked into the cult of organized religion, the cult of racism, the cult of Trump. I still know people who can't leave that cult. I know people who are so invested in this that no matter how bad it gets, they're always going to believe because their pride and ego will not let them be wrong. And while it's so easy to want to blame all the craziness in this country on the people that voted for the man, I don't think that's doing any of us any good. Leaving MAGA is a real thing, and I don't think attacking or criticizing people who finally come to the light is going to do us or this country any good. Don't get me wrong, I troll MAGA every chance I get. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, and I enjoy it. Real talk, when somebody finally sees the light, as it took me a long time to do, sometimes we need to extend them just a little bit of grace and mercy. I think it's the only way we're going to overcome all the craziness in politics for the last 2 decades.
Now, Mel, I do agree with him to a point. Now, when you have so wronged people with that MAGA vote, of course we want to see you come up. Well, we're going to get your ass on the way coming, okay? There's just no way around that. You deserve a punishment for what you made other people have to suffer because for whatever reason you couldn't see through your ego. But for him, Mel, I have no jokes. I'm not going to pick on him. I'm going to say welcome, brother, because you somehow know that you got the courage, you got the strength to break out of that Stockholm syndrome and all those different vices, devices, propaganda that the Republican Party put in place to keep you entrenched. You got out of it. And for that, I'll say kudos. And your voice, my brother, will go a whole lot further in convincing white people than my voice will. And so we're happy to have you. Keep doing what you're doing. Floor is yours, Mel.
That's right. I've seen a lot of this on media, and it makes me sad because it's fair to want to see people get some kind of comeuppance. We're not just talking about bad policy voting. We're talking about people who voted for somebody who we could see was going to take the country down this road, that we could see is now resulting in the real harm we've talked about, with poor people getting poorer no matter what your color, particularly if you're white. People from largely mostly Hispanic groups, as well as other groups, being attacked in deportation, being taken to inhumane centers. The amount of sexual assault, death, and torture that's happening on our own soil is horrific. It's very easy when you feel all that to want to say something or have some comeuppance when people break out. But I'm going to present psychological truth, the truth of working with humans. If you want humans to change, you have to make it easy for them. That doesn't make us feel good inside. So now, adults in the room, we have a choice. You either do the thing that makes you feel good and might still push somebody into a corner because they're going to feel defensive, or you do the work to learn how to take a breath and deal with your shit like an adult and do what Lamont just demonstrated. There's no reason to hate on somebody. We'll deal with it later. We are not in a luxurious place for our feelings to be satisfied. We are in an urgent emergency place where we have to make adult decisions and say, you know what? You got some questions? Let me answer. You know what? You want to come out of this? I welcome you. Let me help you. I know that's not emotionally satisfying, but it is what has to be done in order to turn the tide. Humans, in a psychological sense, are fragile this way. But if you can give them a handout, they can develop the emotional resilience to say, I fucked up. And then when they really get it, they will want to make up for it. Like that man. Mm-hmm. Trust me, that is how most humans work. Like that man doesn't have to make a video, but the people they will want to make up for it. Do you think I'm too off the cuff here, Lamont?
No, I 100% agree with that. I mean, first of all, just think about the moxie it takes to admit that you are wrong when your whole entire spirit of life revolves around that sad, lost, bad culture.
Identity, job, culture, people around you, family, friends, like it's your whole life.
And I guarantee you, he bought all the Republican talking points that the rich Republicans have trickled down, because they ain't like they trickling down the money. They trickle down talking points to keep folks divided so that the money can still go to them. And you don't wake up and realize that you're getting screwed in the butt with an ugly stick by them. And he found courage, wisdom, truth to break out of it. So I have no jokes for him other than to say, maybe we need to do a show together, my brother. Maybe we need to do a show together.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mel.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I just want to acknowledge that it doesn't satisfy. Like there are certain humans who I would like to go dance on their graves when it is appropriate, but I reserve that for myself. But in this time, we need to extend some grace. We don't have the luxury.
Exactly. We don't. If we have got to get democracy back,
turn around.
Moving the way it should be moving. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, me and Mel, most progressives, we are fighting not to suppress the way those white nationalists are doing. We're fighting to progress for everyone. Which one makes better sense? You're sitting here, you don't want to see nobody else do good, crabs in a barrel, or you are a bunch of crabs that start uplifting each other to get out of it. So we all can see progress. And pursue life, liberty, and happiness. People don't want to see it. And this last thing we're going to cover today is a MAGA politician who does not want people to see that male and is willing to act as though he worked his finger to the bone, never got any rest, work his ass off, and that's how he made his money, and has the audacity to tell the American people who are suffering right now that he's going to go be eating lobster and caviar for the poor. Take a listen to this, and then we'll wrap up.
Real quick, how do House Republicans make the case that you're fighting for affordability when you go back to your districts?
Affordability? What are you talking about?
Well, affordability is the big...
I'm going to go there tomorrow. Over the 4th. I'm going to get me a couple big lobster tails. I'm going to get me some nice ribeyes. I'm going to sit in my backyard with my family, my neighbors. And we're going to be enjoying the 4th, celebrating 250 years, the birthday. We're going to be celebrating the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald J. Trump.
This is the shit, like let them eat cake in the 1700s that had the people revolting.
Tell us about Troy Niels. What kind of guy is he?
Oh, yeah, I've heard his name recently. What?
He actually was investigated by the Office of Congressional Ethics over allegations that he used tens of thousands of dollars from campaign funds to pay himself rent.
To buy lobster as well.
to buy lobster
as well.
Then that makes him the perfect Trumper. Fraud,
it does make him the perfect Trumper.
Misuse of funds.
You see that, Mel? Every Republican uses socialism from the government and then has the audacity to tell people who actually need it they can't have it. Floor is yours.
I mean, they do that with abortions also.
Oh, true.
I mean, there isn't anything that people won't do. I wonder how many people remember or know what they're referencing. Let them eat cake.
Explain it to them, Mel, because I know there have been recent movies made about eating cake and the situation they was talking about. But go ahead and let them know.
The cake eating. So this, I do want to say, is a bit debated amongst historians, and I am not a historian by any means of like the French. But Marie Antoinette, very famously quoted for this, being told, you're having these extravagant royal parties. It's pissing off the people of France because they are literally starving. They can't afford bread. And it is purportedly and debated that she then said flippantly, well, then let them eat cake. Meaning she was either out of touch, didn't have fun, or didn't care. This man did the exact same thing. This is what boggles my mind about Americans supporting pieces of shit like him. He's supposed to work for us. He's supposed to be a representative for people who are literally saying, sir, what are you doing for me? Because this is supposed to be my time to celebrate my country, but I can't afford to take care of my family, and I'm scared and worried. And his response is to say, well, I'm going to go enjoy my lobster. Well, you don't need to know. What more are you looking for? He's supposed to work for you. He's supposed to be up late at night, upset that you people in his constituency, whoever's his district, are getting what they need. This motherfucker doesn't give a shit. And I think people need to stop trying to look for depth. Just take the answer for what it is. He doesn't care. He shouldn't be working and representing people. And then, of course, you peel back the curtain and you find out the hypocrisy. Well, he's been siphoning money from the government for his own personal means anyways.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not surprised. Who's surprised?
If you are a Republican, I'm never surprised that you are siphoning money from the government, obfuscating, evading, avoiding, because that's what you do. And then when it finally works out for you after you've gotten that level of help, you love to run in front of cameras and tell everybody that America and capitalism is the greatest system ever formed. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Stop it. If it was so great, we wouldn't be in this wealth divide where the top 10% controls more than half the wealth in the whole nation. Ain't nothing great about that. And therefore, there's a bunch of white Christian folks who the Republican Party has been able to propagandize into believing they don't deserve wealth because they've got God on their side. God is going to take care of them. You don't need no wealth. So for that group, Mel, you know what they do? They'll just say, we're not going to worry about wealth. We know God's going to take care of us. And then you get screwed in the butt by the ugly stick by the same people trying to tell you that you don't need the government's help, that are using the government, and that wealth shouldn't be something you want to attain because your God is going to look out for you. And all I have to say about that, Mel, is how has God worked out for this nation over the last 50 years in terms of wealth? Hadn't looked pretty. Hadn't looked pretty. Last word goes to you, Mel. Then we're out of here.
Honestly, I just want to go back to what that man who escaped the cult said. The cult of MAGA, the cult of organized religion. Insert any religion, folks.
Right.
Like,
any religion.
This idea that Sky Daddy is going to come take care, that is the most juvenile. Please mature to take care of yourself. At least have self-preservation. Okay. Mature enough mentally and emotionally to be able to recognize when you're being predated upon and you can get out of it. Like it's like an abusive relationship.
Exactly. Well, folks, that is going to do it for me and Mel today. Her link is in the video description. Anytime you want to go and see what she's all about, what she can do, she can help you, because I know a lot of y'all out there need a damn hug. Her link is in the description so that you can make communication with her. And until that next video, shorts will be blasted out tomorrow morning, bright and early. Come through and see who's made my list for tomorrow. I'm out.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.